Today's video is going to look at the environmental conditions that can affect the rate of photosynthesis. So there's 5 we're going to look at: water availability, light intensity, light color, temperature, and the concentration of CO2. So obviously, when there's not enough water available, plants will start to dry out. When they start to dry out, they tend to flip their leaves down and wrinkle their leaves up. This is a way of reducing the amount of sunlight that hits the leaf. And if this continues for a long enough period of time, then the plants will die. But this plant we're looking at right here is far from death. It just needs a little water. This plant, within a couple hours of being watered, looks like this again. And so it does not require, it's not dead, it just was dry. But water is definitely needed for plants to be successful. And the next thing we're going to need is light. Now, we don't need light at super high levels for plants to be successful. Matter of fact, the maximum rate of photosynthesis is equivalent to a cloudy summer day. Okay, that's the amount of light needed to max out our photosynthesis. You can see if we look at the scale down here, a full summer day, somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 lumens is way more light than is needed for maximum photosynthesis. We only need, looks like around 1,800 lumens to get our maximum photosynthesis. A greenhouse in the winter is not even close to maximum. So a lot of times they add additional light to greenhouses in order to get things to grow better in the wintertime. The next thing that is going to affect the rate of photosynthesis is light color. So we talked about this earlier in the video when we talked about the light reaction, but light color has a major effect on the rate of photosynthesis. Blue and violet light are very good for photosynthesis. Green is very bad, and orange and reds are pretty good. They don't have as much energy as the blues and violets. And so this would be your best spectrum. If you could only have one spectrum, you'd want this. And that's why a lot of grow lights look kind of blue or violet, is they have a lot of this spectrum right here. This is a lower energy. It's useful, but not nearly as useful as this energy. Temperature is also important. These are in degrees Celsius, so you got to kind of think and convert as we go. But you can see 0 degrees Celsius or freezing is not very good for photosynthesis. And we all know that because you don't have to mow your lawn all spring. If you think about mowing your lawn, usually you don't start mowing your lawn until May. Okay, and a lot of times you'll mow it until October, and you won't have to mow it anymore. Okay, and the reason for that is it's too cold in the early spring, and it's too cold in late fall for photosynthesis to take place, and so plants don't grow very much. In the summertime, when we have a lot of weather in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, that's kind of the top of this spectrum. Plants do really well, and so as long as they have enough water and light, they're going to grow really well, and so we get fast growth in the summertime. And then our last, carbon dioxide levels do affect the rate of photosynthesis. They've done these studies in greenhouses where they change the amount of carbon dioxide in the greenhouse to do these studies. And what they found is that as the carbon dioxide levels go up, photosynthesis goes up, but then it kind of levels off. Our current levels are about 400 parts per million in the air. So we're right about here. But if we keep going up, it's going to go, our rate will go up. But once you get past about 1,000 parts per million, it really has no effect on the rate of photosynthesis after that. You can see over the past 150, or not 150 years, but about 65 years or so. I believe this started in the 1950s. They started keeping track of carbon dioxide. And you can see our carbon dioxide levels on our planet have gone up quite a bit. They're over 400 parts per million now. They do go up and down a little bit each year. The reason they go up and down a little bit each year is there's a lot more plant life in the northern hemisphere than in the southern hemisphere. So the CO2 levels go down when it's summer in the northern hemisphere because we're doing so much photosynthesis, and then they go back up when it's summertime in the southern hemisphere and winter here. So that little up and down each year is caused by that.